is Upbeat with beatboxer, musician, speaker, and show host, Parker K.
Hey everyone, welcome to Upbeat, and thank you very much for being here and for listening in today. If you would, please follow the podcast wherever you're listening to it right now. And if you like the show, then leave an Upbeat review. That is always super appreciated, so thank you for that. Today's guest is Clara Berta. I met her on Clubhouse. She is an absolutely phenomenal artist. She's a contemporary painter with a passion for creating abstract, fine art that imparts a sense of serenity to promote healing and wellness for both herself and the observer. Her mission is to share her art with people who are on a journey to improve their overall well-being. And she has an absolutely incredible story, which we break down here in today's episode of Upbeat. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here's my interview with Clara Berta. Clara, thank you very much for joining me on Upbeat. I appreciate you.
Oh, I'm excited. This is a great day. I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to have you here. And I love what you're doing with your art. For those of you who are listening to this episode and watching this episode on YouTube, you can see some of her art that she's got behind her, which is super cool to look at. So definitely head over to the YouTube channel and check that out, or to the website, parkerkane.co. But Clara, very, very happy to have you here. I love starting with story, and I'd love to just kick off that way. So if you don't mind sharing with us a little bit about yourself and who you are, what life was like growing up, and who you are today.
So I grew up in Romania, Transylvania to be exact, which is a Hungarian part in Romania. At home, we spoke Hungarian, and in school, I spoke Romanian. My friends were my chickens and roosters. Oh, we had one rooster. The rooster was my friend. The rooster liked to peck at my head. And that wasn't really good because you know what happened to the rooster. So there.
Yep.
Yes. But life was difficult, but I liked school, and I had some difficulties in school, but I had like a teacher for math and tutors and stuff, and that helped out a lot. And I came to the United States when I was 11 years old. My father left first, and it took us 2.5 years to follow him. And I was so very, very happy to be reunited and be in the United States with my family together. I living in Chicago for 13 years, got married at a young age, 17, got divorced, had to leave. We couldn't stay in the same state, so one of us had to leave. That was me. Came to California. Loved California. I'm still here. Moved here in 1987, and I started modeling and acting and doing some extra work, and I loved it. I studied doing commercials. Loved being on stage. I was a secretary for a long time, and then I decided to go back to school. I studied psychology. I wanted to become a therapist, and then I went to USC for a year, and then I dropped out. I had a breakdown. I couldn't handle statistics, and they said I didn't know what I was going to do with social work. But what I really wanted to do was work with older people, and that was, but I was missing creativity in my life because, so I wanted to go back to acting. And when I did, I was much happier, creativity. I mean, I was back to myself again. I felt like I was trying to keep up with my late husband because he was a world-renowned pathologist. So I felt like I wanted to keep up with him. But then I realized, it's okay. I have to be myself. I am unique. I am one of a kind. And I was much happier.
Yes, very important to be yourself, to be ourselves. So where, I guess, where along the line did you find out that you were passionate about art and painting? I mean, you mentioned acting and doing some of those things, which I want to ask about too, like if you were part of SAG, SAG, or anything like that.
Yes.
I actually had to be a part of that to do my McDonald's commercial. So I learned something new.
That's
What's that?
wonderful. You got your SAG card.
Yeah, it was interesting. I don't know if I still have it. I should probably look into that because it'd be something cool to pursue. But where along the lines did you find painting and art?
So, like maybe 2 years after I moved to California, I had a boyfriend at the time, and I just started painting. And I started with oil, and it was kind of landscape, underwater. And I got so excited about it. And I found some cheap frames on sale, and I wanted to frame them. And he said to me, "Are you sure your paintings are ready to be framed?" And I said, "Of course they are." So, it was a little setback, and I put my paintings aside. But slowly but surely, I got back into them. And I realized every time I was going through a difficult time in my life, I went back to painting. Painting helped me to heal. And that's really why I became an artist.
Interesting. I love that. I absolutely love that. And you do this for a business, right? Like you sell your paintings. If someone's interested in checking them out and purchasing some painting from some art from you, where and how can they do that?
They can find me at bertaart.com. Instagram is the same, Berta Art. I love creating unique, one-of-a-kind paintings. My latest series is minimalism. I just feel like less is more. I love white space. I saw a documentary called Minimalism, I believe, with these two guys that were traveling, and it was all about getting rid of stuff in your home. And I was like, I think I should do that with my paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, less texture, because I was very heavy into textures, but I love pouring. I love water. I love nature. I'm a water person. So I like the movement, and I feel like movement is like part of my personality or part of me, because I like to move. I love to dance, and maybe being on stage. So who knows? It's kind of a combination of things.
Love it. That's an important part of art too. Yeah, having fun with it and
Yes.
moving as you're making it happen, Very, very cool. And I'd love to ask, what has business been like with COVID and everything? Did you notice like an increase or a decrease in the amount of people that were purchasing art for their homes?
Last year, it was a great year. I had some good months and some slow months. The galleries were very supportive, and more artworks were selling online. So that was great. I had a beautiful gallery on Main Street, and I closed it in December because it was just too difficult to keep up. And I really love people. I'm a people person. So that was really important to me. I think Downtown Art Walk helped me a great deal. I have several galleries that are representing my work, so I'm really, really grateful for them. They're very supportive, and I've been creating more for the galleries, and some, of course, for me. And I have collectors that love my work, and repeat collectors, so it's wonderful.
Love it. Thanks so much for sharing. I'm curious too, how important is it for us to have art like in our homes, in our offices, things like that? Because I know for me, like I'm at my desk all day long. I'm spending a lot of time on Clubhouse, a lot of time on, I guess, my devices. And so how important is it for us to have like art and things like that in our homes?
I feel like it's really important because it makes me feel good. I was on a Zoom call the other day, and I noticed they had naked blank walls, and I said, you need to get some art in here because it just looks so empty. And so, I don't know, it makes you feel good. I feel like art lifts you up. It's all about the energy. And that's really important. I created something special for you, so I can't wait for you to get it.
I know. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm excited to see it. And when I do, get it, I'd love to post it up on my website on this episode, like on the where I'm going to write out the description and everything, just so people can kind of get a look.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we'll leave links and everything so people can go check out your art. It's truly amazing. And what's cool though is like the story behind the art and the person behind the art. You know, that's a reason why I really wanted to have you on the podcast was actually just for everyone listening, I met Clara on Clubhouse, this new app that you've heard me talk so much about because I love it. And it's interesting because that's an all audio app. Like I didn't see your art, you know, you and I crossed paths and I heard your story and I was so amazed and so wowed. And then I went over to your Instagram and then I went to your website and then I was just like, oh my gosh, like I've got to have one of those and I've got to meet her. And it's awesome how we're able to connect that way on Clubhouse. But would love to hear your thoughts on Clubhouse, on some of the blessings you've experienced from it and how that's been able to help with your art.
Oh my God, Clubhouse has been incredible. I'm so grateful that I got to meet you and I'm meeting more and more people. It just helps me feel connected. Like we have a great community. I just don't feel so alone sometimes. I'm learning so much. It's educational. I found one especially called Change Your Algorithm. And it's all about mental wellness and healing. And they provide therapy and it's free. It's a class that you join. So I just found it really amazing. And I just happened to find it by accident. You know, sometimes you find these rooms and there you are. And then it's like, okay, I have to follow this room and be a part of it regularly. And I love Clubhouse. I recommend it for everyone.
Yes, absolutely. And I've noticed that you've found some of the same rooms that I've been in, which is kind of cool. It's always fun to scroll through all the profiles and see everyone who's there and all the familiar faces. Some of whom I'd love to have also on the podcast. It's like a never-ending stream of podcast guests. So I like you. I love Clubhouse. It's freaking awesome.
Yesterday, Netflix producer was on. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that was truly moving. I was so happy to be a part of that.
Yeah, very grateful that I could be a part of those too with John Ushai and
yes,
Mark Randolph. Yeah, the first co-founder and CEO of Netflix. It was he's not working at Netflix anymore, but I thought it was fascinating, like all of the tips and advice that he had that he was just giving out to everyone for free. You know, you didn't have to pay to be in that room and to learn from him. And there's just so much like that's happening on Clubhouse, which is absolutely amazing. And of course, you and I were able to connect, and it's been awesome to get to know you and have you on the podcast. Before we get into this kind of last segment that I call the upbeat seat, I just wanted to ask, what have been, because I know it's really challenging to pursue maybe a career like this. And a lot of people have a lot of doubts, you know, they fear they can't make it, those kinds of thoughts. So what have been some like speed bumps? What have been some struggles? And how do you continue to stay motivated and passionate to move forward and make it happen?
I think what I learned yesterday was about mentoring. And I love mentoring artists. And I love being around other artists to have support from myself and getting outside, like being outside in nature and being around creative people really has helped me. Like Clubhouse or other art groups that I belong to, that we can give you, it's networking. It's networking, building relationships. I was referred by another artist to a show that I'm going to be in Japan. And so that's very, very exciting. And that'll be this summer. And it'll be in a museum. So that happened because of another artist recommending me. So I think it's all about building relationships and being motivated. I think it's about the mind shift and positive energy. And what else can I say? I think giving each other support.
Yeah, absolutely love that. Once we know the skills, right, it then turns into mentorship, and it's just so cool to hear you say that. I'll have to connect you with some of the other wonderful women that have been on this podcast.
Oh my God, I love them.
Anne Merritt.
Yes.
Anne Merritt, Ban Marcos, Heather Falter. There's some other artists that have been on the show, and I know some more too who have not been on the show. So I'll make sure to intro you to everyone, and that I mean, who knows the collaborations that can take place.
I love teaching. I've been teaching for 12 years, and I get so excited when I see somebody come in and they're not feeling good or they're depressed or whatever. And then they create something and their eyes and their whole energy changes. So it's really a great feeling to make a difference in someone's life.
Absolutely. Well, before we get into the upbeat seat, is there anything else pressing that you'd love to share that maybe I didn't ask about or that we haven't touched on quite yet?
I think you've covered a great deal. I think I'm just going to keep doing what I love and surround myself with people like yourself.
Very cool. Well, thanks so much, Clara. Moving into the upbeat seat. What makes you upbeat?
That's a good one. I love the music that you do also. So music, dancing, I think that lifts me up. Throwing some pain, letting my inner child out, I think is a big one. So I love that. And I think we need to play more. So those are things that come to me about, being more upbeat and how I feel. And the sun, I feel good when there's beautiful natural light coming in here. All of that lifts me up. Eating healthy, exercise. The other day I took a 3-mile walk. That made me feel so good.
Love it. Who is your number one influence or inspiration?
And it's a great question. Let me see. I love Gerhard Richter. I feel like my late husband has been a positive influence because I think my art is part of the education of going to museums and traveling and seeing the world. I think the culture. So I'm very grateful that I have that foundation and the education and traveling, I think. So I'm grateful to my late husband for giving me the support and pushing me and telling me to find a business that I would love to pursue. So I give him credit.
Awesome. What is your favorite word?
Passion. I'm passionate.
Passion. Absolutely love that. Do you have any favorite TV shows or anything right now?
Right now? Nothing right now. We've watched quite a bit, I think, more last year. Right now, I haven't even turned the TV on for about a week or so, and it's been kind of refreshing.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Totally love the silence right now. Oh, I listened to some music on Clubhouse. It went on and on by a Dubai artist, and it was just so, and it was a flautist too. I just loved it. It just helped me to paint.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah, I'm laughing because you remind me that since Clubhouse, I have not watched TV, like hardly at all. I basically go to work, do all the things that I need to do, and then anytime I have any time, I turn on Clubhouse and start continuing to work there. Work's not the right word because I don't feel like I'm working, but I continue to make connections there and build there and find an audience there, and it's just so amazing.
I feel the same way.
Yes. Favorite social media platform and where people can connect with you?
I feel Instagram is fabulous. Clubhouse is incredible right now, and I think it's doing so well. And look what's happening. Now Facebook wants to have audio rooms as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're catching on.
Yep, Clubhouse is on to something.
Right?
You know, it's kind of scary, kind of threatening, but also they should be excited that now everyone wants to, copy them because they've stumbled onto something truly amazing. Well, Clara, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm gonna close this out by beatboxing your name real quick, and
Ooh, I love
hopefully you can hear it well on the other end of this Zoom technology. Clara Berta. Thank you, Clara Berta.
Wow, how do you do that? You are good.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been almost, this is going to date myself, but it's been almost 20 years of beatboxing. So,
Wow, that's amazing. Were you self-taught or did you study?
I was self-taught. I started when I was 9 years old watching NSYNC and just trying to mimic what they were doing.
Wow, that's incredible. I've been an artist for 20 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Look at that.
So we started the same year back in the 90s. That's funny. Awesome, Clara. Well, thanks so much for being on
Thank you
Upbeat.
so much. I loved it.
And to everyone listening, thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.
So there's my interview with Clara Berta, and of course, we'd both love to stay connected with you. So you can find me at my website, parkerkane.co, parkerkane.co, and Clara on her website, bertaart.com. That's BERTA art.com. Thank you again for being here, listening to this episode. If you got value from it, please share it with a friend and leave an upbeat review. And as always, you guys are the best. I'll see you next week.
This is Upbeat with beatboxer, musician, speaker, and show host, Parker K. Subscribe at parkerk.co.